I never expected to die in my sleep. But that's what I thought was happening when the blinding light filled my room. White, hot, and humming like a storm of electricity. One moment, I was a mechanic in a dying Earth colony. The next, my lungs burned, and gravity seemed to collapse inward. The air smelled like metal and ozone. My bed wasn't under me anymore, it was gone. Everything was gone. When I opened my eyes again, I wasn't in my room. I was in a circular chamber with walls made of living metal, pulsating with faint blue veins. Around me stood 7 towering figures, their armor glinting with faint silver scales, their faces half hidden behind helmets shaped like beasts. And in front of them, a woman. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, built like a predator and sculpted like a statue, her dark violet skin streaked with scars that looked more like metals. Her hair shimmered like mercury under strange alien light. Her eyes, golden, feline, locked onto me. "This is the one?" she asked in a language I somehow understood. A smaller figure, perhaps a translator, nodded. "He carries the spark, my queen. The ancient code recognizes him." "Queen?" My mind reeled. "Wait, who are you? Where am I?" I demanded. The queen tilted her head slightly, studying me. "You are on the Kthari warship Human. You are chosen." Chosen for what? Her golden eyes didn't blink. To be mine. And then she stepped forward and pressed a hand against my chest. A ring of light appeared around us, rising from the floor like a column of fire. And before I could move, something seared across my arm, burning into my skin like molten wire. When it faded, a black mark pulsed there, an intricate sigil that glowed faintly in rhythm with my heartbeat. "What did you do to me?" I gasped. The queen only said calmly, "You are now bound to me by oath. You are my mate." Middle, the warrior queen and the human. I spent the next several days locked inside a silver cell, though calling it a cell was generous. It was more like a lavish suite, bed of woven silk steel, food that tasted like fruit and smoke, a screen projecting alien landscapes. But still I was trapped. Guards, all female, stood outside the transparent door. Every time I asked to speak to someone, they only said, "The queen will call for you." When she finally did, I was brought to a massive training hall. Weapons of every kind hung on the walls, spears, plasma axes, curved blades that hummed with light. The queen was there, sparring with a soldier twice her size, and beating her effortlessly. She disarmed the warrior, sent her to the floor, and turned to me without even catching her breath. "You're awake. Good." "Awake and kidnapped," I muttered. Her lips curled slightly. "Do you always greet your wife like that?" I blinked. "You can't be serious." "I am always serious," she said, stepping close enough for me to feel the heat of her. "The bond is real. You carry my mark, and by Kthari law, you are my consort." I didn't agree to anything. "You were chosen," she said flatly. "The Oracle selected you from across the stars. You are a match of balance. My people believe every Kthari queen must bond with one whose soul can temper her rage. It keeps us from burning everything." She said it like a confession, and for the first time, her golden eyes softened. "So, you kidnapped me to keep you calm?" "To keep us alive," she corrected. "Without the bond, the energy within me grows unstable. It can destroy worlds. You are the stabilizer." I stared at her. This was insane. And yet, the mark on my arm pulsed when she looked at me, sinking to her heartbeat, her breathing. Some kind of resonance. "You can't seriously expect me to just accept this." "I don't expect you to accept," she said. "I expect you to adapt." Days turned into weeks. They didn't keep me prisoner anymore. I was allowed to walk the ship, a vast floating fortress orbiting a dying red star. The Cathari were a warrior race, every movement a blend of grace and precision. But the queen, her name, I learned, was Sarathra, stood apart even among them. They feared her, revered her, but never approached her casually. Yet somehow she always found me. When she trained, she made me watch. When she dined, she asked me to sit beside her. And when she dreamed, I could feel it through the bond, flashes of her past, her pain, her power. One night, I couldn't sleep. I found her alone in the observation deck, staring at the crimson nebula outside. "You miss your home," I said quietly. Her jaw tensed. "I have no home left." "What happened?" She looked at me, and for once, the warrior mask slipped. "The war. My kind are born in conflict. We destroyed our own worlds to prove who was strongest. When I ascended as queen, I swore to end the bloodline feuds. But peace has a price. The others call me weak." "You're not weak," I said without thinking. "You're trying to save them." Her gaze lingered on me, sharp and unreadable. Then, softly, "Your species. You fight for hope even when you have none. That's why the Oracle chose you." She stepped closer, so close I could feel the static hum between us. Her hand lifted to touch my chest, right where the bond mark glowed beneath my shirt. "When you dream," she whispered, "I see what you see. I saw your world, your oceans, your laughter. You don't realize how beautiful your kind are until you've seen them through alien eyes." I swallowed hard. "Sarathra?" She drew back just slightly, her face unreadable again. "Rest, human. Tomorrow, we face the Council." The Council of War. The Cathari Council was not happy. 7 massive figures stood in a semicircle, their armor radiating energy. One of them slammed a spear into the floor. "You bonded with an outsider. This is blasphemy." Sarathra stood firm. "The Oracle decreed it." "The Oracle is dead," another spat. "Your union weakens the bloodline." I stepped forward before I could stop myself. "Maybe your bloodline needs to change." All eyes turned to me, burning gold, red, violet. "Who speaks without permission?" one snarled. "I'm the human you're all terrified of," I said, voice shaking but steady. "If what Sarathra said is true, you've been at war for centuries. For what? Pride? Honor? You call it strength, but all it's done is make you alone." They growled, the air crackling with energy, but Sarathra smiled. "Just barely. This," she said to them, "is why I chose him." The eldest of the council raised his staff. "Then you will prove his worth in the trial of unity. If the bond is true, he will survive. If not, both of you die." Before I could speak, the floor beneath us opened, and we fell. The trial of unity. We landed in a vast arena, surrounded by an ocean of fire and shadow. Floating above us was a swirling orb of pure energy, the core flame. Sarathra's voice was calm. "The trial tests the bond. If we are truly joined, we share pain, thought, and purpose. If we are not, the flame consumes us." I felt my heart pound. "And if we fail?" Her gaze softened. "Then it is an honorable death." I shook my head. "Not happening." The core flared, and beams of energy shot toward us. We moved together instinctively. She blocked with her blade. I dodged, and somehow, the energy from my bond created a shield that deflected another strike. It felt like my body knew hers, every motion synced. The flame grew angrier. The floor cracked. The temperature spiked to unbearable heat. Sarathra stumbled, wounded, and the moment she did, pain lanced through me, the bond linking our suffering. "Stay back," she shouted. No chance, I said, gripping her arm. If we burn together. She stared at me, eyes wide. And then, in one movement, she took my hand, pressed it to her chest, and whispered in Kthari, a vow. The bond mark flared, brighter than ever, and energy surged through both of us, 2 heartbeats merging into one rhythm. The core flame shrieked, then imploded into silence. When the light cleared, we stood alone, untouched, the mark glowing steady and calm. Above, the council watched in silence. Then the eldest bowed. The bond is true, he said, ending the human consort. That night, the Kthari ship was alive with sound, chants, songs, warriors striking their armor in salute. I didn't understand their words, but I knew the tone. Respect. Sarathra approached me in the great hall, her armor polished, her golden eyes reflecting the torchlight. You've given my people something they have not had in generations, she said quietly. Faith. I shrugged. Guess I'm good for something after all. She smiled faintly, a small, rare thing. You're more than that, human. You are mine. She stepped closer. Does that frighten you? I met her gaze. Not anymore. Her expression softened. Then stay. Not as prisoner. Not even as consort. Stay because you choose to. I hesitated, thinking of Earth, the lonely colony, the empty life I'd left behind. I'll stay, I said finally, but only if you stop calling me human all the time. Her eyes gleamed. Then what shall I call you? Call me Daniel, I said. She tested the word like a precious secret. Daniel. And for the first time, the galaxy's most feared warrior laughed, quietly, beautifully, and reached for my hand. Outside the ship, the stars drifted past like embers in the dark. Somewhere, deep within the living metal of the warship, our bond mark pulsed, 2 heartbeats, 1 rhythm. I had gone to sleep single, and woke up married to a legend